Okay, so what a feasibility test is, in a nutshell, it's just showing the users, I give you this feature, this feature, this feature, this feature. Which one is the least one that you would use? Take it out. I give you this one, this one, this one. So you keep on taking out until you find the primary feature that they need, and from there you start building on it. So if I'm going to do like a test, right, a feasibility test, I can go and back up this information with raw data. Do you understand? And at the end of the day, I myself and the stakeholders, which are usually the biz dev guys or my boss or anybody, will now make an informed decision on this is what our users should do. Right. So let me just give you an analogy. Henry Ford, right? Everyone has seen Ford cars, or heard of Ford cars, right? When Ford started, he said that if I asked my people what they wanted, they would say faster horses. They didn't know. Ford actually created the first functional automobile. It wasn't called car then, it was called an automobile. So if you had asked people what they wanted, say want faster horses, want horses that won't stop midway to say they're hungry or something. So users, fine, they can give you key insights, but never ever just follow, oh, this is what my users need. So your job is like to guide them, okay? So this is what you're telling me that you need. This is what I think you need. And this is where we meet in the middle, okay? Most of these things, most of these fancy things that we see, all these gradients, all these things, nobody even thought about how these things were before. No one thought about dark mode before, right? So one guy that probably started off dark mode, showed a couple of people and like, oh, okay, this thing doesn't hurt my eyes. Do you get? So I can walk at night with this screen. I love it. Now dark mode is everywhere. Everyone is demanding everything has dark mode now. So just to go back to your question, you don't just find a percentage and say we're going to go with this, right? You do a lot of testing. You get raw data, right? I'm sorry, I'll be very online. I'll show you guys some types of user testing. You get that raw data, then you now pass it to the stakeholders to make an informed decision. Right. I hope that answered the question. Okay, so next slide. Okay, I think I covered this one. I'm talking about what we do. All right. So design and user experience changes over time. Okay, so you have to be very, very fluid with everything that happens. So the way you think, with the way you work, the tools you use, the tests that you give your users, you have to be very fluid every day. In the span of 1 year, you can change your methodology about 3-4 times, right? So always be fluid, always talk to the market, always go online, talk to other designers. It evolves over time. Now, this is the Pinterest site, just how many years ago? 10 years ago. And now this is Pinterest site now. Who uses Pinterest? Awesome. So we all know what Pinterest looks like and it can do. Would you believe that in 2010, this is how Pinterest was looking, right? Okay. Let me show you a couple of sites. All right, let me talk on Google since my friend is a Google advocate. All right, so who can, what's the most notable thing between the old Google homepage and this current one? Who wants to answer? The most striking difference. Let me hear from you guys between the first, this old one and this new one. Thank you. Thank you. Another thing about that font, so those can see a difference in that font, apart from the font itself. What? Yeah, the simpler, but there's still something going on in that font. Yeah, once it sounds, yeah. Ebon. Which one is? Also, exclamation mark. There's still one thing you guys are missing. Yes, the drop shadows. So back in, I don't know when was this, 97 or 2000, everyone was big on drop shadow. Every user wanted drop shadow, yes. But now our eyes have kind of adjusted to simple, clean backgrounds, no drop shadow. If you're going to use a drop shadow, you don't make it as harsh as that, okay? You always reduce your pass maybe 5%, 4%. So that's the key decision that they made. Apart from that, now we're talking interface now. Apart from experience, this is what Google has done. Google has launched a whole number of products. I don't think at this time they had maps. At this time they didn't have maps. They didn't have Google Docs. They didn't have all those products. So now you can see this whole area here is dedicated to who? The user. You guys get? In the old days where I don't have anything about me, it's just come and search, right? So they've done a lot of experience and just put this. It looks so simple, but there's a lot going on. So this Google homepage is actually your homepage. Because from here I can do things on my accounts, my dashboard, my apps, images, what have you. It's on this corner here, right? So with the way Google has transformed, their user experience has transformed. way the products have come up, the user experience has come up as well. So it's always good to evolve. You always work with your business and say, hey, what are you guys doing? What's going on with you guys? What features do you want? And find a way to translate that into design as well. All right. Are we good? All right. Tumblr, just a few. Design. Yeah. eBay. Just some context behind eBay. Initially, I think it was just for exchanges, direct exchanges. Just come. I have this. I think it was one of the first marketplaces. I have this. Find a buyer. I sell it. But with that, it's turned into still a marketplace. But now you can buy unique products on eBay. So just talking about. So you kind of let the business transform, which will guide your own design and user experience, right? Also, what you could also do is also propose to the business. So it's kind of like that merge. But the whole point is that every year, every month, every day, transformation needs to happen in the background. Okay. So what I was just saying previously, please don't do a design and just think, man, we're good. They're going to use my design for the next 6 months. And when you now decide to change it, start feeling bad. Or when someone comes and says, now everything evolves. The business changes, users change, the design has to change. All right. I want everyone to write this down or take notes. Let's say it together. It's just a little mantra. All right. A system that works, which has been regarded as complex, it's invariably made of simple systems that work. Okay? So never look at any design and think, this is too much or something too much is going on and everything. Just little things that work. Okay? Let's take this design here. You see this icon, right? It represents a house. You see how many lines are going on there? A few lines representing a house. Everyone sees that icon and they know it means home. It is just a few lines. So that itself is a simple system going on, right? So now it has added to the there and now, without telling anybody, okay, go to your home screen. That's the icon that they go to. Okay? So it's a very simple system that works. So when you're doing a big design like this, don't just think, I need a home icon. Go, think about it contextually, okay? How many users are going to recognize that? Because funny enough, there are some very funny people that don't even know what home means in this. Very, very funny people. So always think of a simple system. So always drill down to find the simplest system that works. What else works here? Yeah. So I don't know how they've done it, but now all of us know that this is a map or location icon. No one needs to tell us that. So I'm sure if you go back 10 years ago and put this icon there, everyone will be like, I don't know what that does. So you have to constantly evolve and constantly understand what your users want. Any questions so far? I feel like I'm going fast. I don't know why. Okay, I also want to critique this design. Is there anything off of it? Anything that you could improve? Is it perfect? Thank you. Well, I think it's a clap for hand. That's awesome. I'm on your page. I don't know. I find maybe I opened the app and I saw the logo, but there's no branding around it, right? There's nothing keeping me there. Okay. Who else can point something that's wrong with it? Navigation, right? Exactly. Thank you. That's a big error. I'm on this page. I don't know if I should go home here or I'm already confused. Great one. It's renamed, right? Thank you. Me, I'm all for naming icons. Maybe because we work in Nigeria and most of our users are very somehow. Let me not use any bad word. But I prefer I have this icon here for recognizability purpose. I still have my icon, but under it I just write home. The next one, location. I don't even see myself as a designer. I don't know what clicking this is going to do. Will it show me my saved houses? Will it show me? What will it show me? Yeah, so it's good to just put like a little thing under that. But over in the US or the UK, they normally like simplistic icons like this. Right? Any other critique? No, that's valid. That's valid. I think this gray here is too gray. Yeah, the contrast is so weak. Like, I can get this is a placeholder text, right? So obviously, it shouldn't tell me anything. It's just like a placeholder. But this one, like view all, I can't even see it. So it's a bit darker. Fine. That's a great one. Any other one? Okay. So I'm sure at first glance, when we saw it, we were like, wow, this design is clean, it's nice. But after drilling deeper, you can find things that are always you could improve. Okay. Next slide. All right. Okay, so this is actually the crux of what we're going to talk about today. Design language system. Why do I even keep this this definition there? I wanted to ask you guys what you think a design language is. But yeah, it's a set of rules or guidelines that heightens the level of harmony in a digital ecosystem. All that grammar is just talking about consistency and harmony, okay? As designers, you guys are, what's the word I'll use? You're lawmakers. You're making the rule, right? You're making the rule and you're also following the rule, okay? So if I say I want all my action buttons to be blue, for the rest of my design, they have to be blue. I want to align all my text left. Fine, you might choose to align in the center sometimes, but primarily you should stay left. I want to do a whole, I'm sure, look at my slides now. I'm sure some of the alignments, I'm sure some text started from here now, they're going inside. I've already broken my own rule. I choose to decide, I want to, who knows what from here to here is called? From this place to this place, who knows what it's called? White space is good. Margin is also good, okay? As designers, that's like design development. As designers, we call it white space, okay? The space around your elements. As developers, they call it margin. So it's also good. I don't think it's padding as well. I wish it's chalkboard, right? Awesome. We're talking design, so. All right. So I have my elements, and I have it here, okay? So let's say this is supposed to be like a picture of like, let's say I'm going to my friend's pictures, okay? And these are like pictures. I click on this nav, it takes me to the next picture. We all get that, right? Yeah, question. Oh, okay. Okay. So in terms of development, from here to here, it's called margin, right? Whereas if the picture, this is the picture frame, right? If the picture actually starts from here, this element here has padding. I know it sounds very confusing. It took me a very long time to understand the difference. Okay, I'll explain again. You can't see, right? Okay. Yeah. So I'm just saying the marker is not so sharp. I'm just trying to say that you have a frame. You have a frame inside. The space around the frame is called your margin. Whereas something else is going on inside this frame, which is called padding, to actually guide where this next element will go. Do you get what I'm saying? If I just had, let me take this off now. If I just had this guy here, I increase the margin, it's going to push this guy down. I increase the margin, it's going to push this guy down. But within the guy itself, how much space is this guy allowing within himself? Yes? So margin is pretty much the space outside, padding is the space inside. Yeah. By the time you work with developments or front-end guys, you understand that very much. So instead of calling it white space, because white space is usually for like a graphic design, we call it margin and padding design in user interface design. Any questions about this? I know it's complex. Any questions? It's fine, right? All right. Okay, back to design language system. So, how many of us have built a website here or designed a website? Raise your hand if you designed a website. 1, 2, 4. Just 4 of you guys. You guys should design something now. Maybe not the full websites, but just at least the landing page. Okay. How many of us have designed a landing page? Okay, awesome. Most of us have designed a landing page here. Great, congrats. How many of us did a design system before we designed that landing page? That's not. That's not the best. So ideally, we should start off with a design system. A design system is just like your building blocks to a house. You don't wait till your house is built before you start saying, oh, I like this brick, or I like this pillar. But you go out, if you're building a house, you go out and say, this is the flooring I want, this is the pillar I want, this is the thing I want, before you now start building the house, right? So if I'm going to start a design system, me personally, what I usually start with is the font. Okay? I always think about what fonts do I want to use for this. I think about the brand, and I think about the brand. We'll go into that, but I start with the font, I start with the colors. After that, I start choosing, this is the button I want. I want it to have the button with the icon, or I just want it to be plain. I want all the buttons to have an outline. I want a gradient. So start picking, this is how the button will look. This is how, maybe I'm going to use some shape elements. This is how they're going to look. I'm going to use some images as well. What kind of pictures are you going to use? It's good to define all that. Put that on one dirty screen. See how everything fits on that screen first, before you now start putting your text and moving it around to make an actual website. It's very important. In fact, the assignment I'm going to give is that design a landing page using a design system. Okay? I can go online, right? Yeah. Okay, so let me even show you some cool design systems. Put this guys yeah. Oh wow, okay. It's not actually nice too, right? Sorry, so how do I get out of projection mode? Presentation mode. So it was here. So they're not saying. I just escape, right? All right, awesome. Thanks. Okay. Okay. So there's this company called Atlassian. So they set up tools for developers to use. They're a very cool company, and they have like this nice, clean design system. So what this is doing is it's giving them a guide for everything. Okay, you guys should look it up. So when you're building your website or your landing page, it's good to have this system because it allows you to make informed decisions, right? If your client or your user comes and say, why do you use this color? I don't like this color. And you just be like, means I don't like the color, change it. it's like two mad people arguing with each other. But if you have facts, if you have this thing, if you have this system, they will approve it instantly. This system increases approval by 80%. Peter has said it here and now. If you want your stuff to be designed, if you want your stuff to be approved, come up with a design system. So what this does is like every single decision you make is backed up in this system. So these guys are talking about their brand, their design principles, their logo, why we prototype. These are the illustrations we use. These are the colors we use. So if you explore it, it looks like boring stuff, but something like this now. They're bold, they're optimistic, they're practical with a wink, whatever that means. But now, if I think bold, optimistic, I'm not going to use colors like black or gray. I'm going to use very bright colors. Like this blue, it works with bold. You get so if you have this, if you have these keywords or this backing, it allows you to make informed decisions. If I define this and I choose these colors, nobody's going to ask me, yeah, why do you use these colors? You get it's going to always be there. So back to the presentation. Sorry. From the beginning. All right. Exactly. So this is just what I was saying. So I wouldn't go too in depth, but this was roughly what I will do before I start. I'll choose my color palette. Like I said, two key things for me are the color and the typo. Kind of like everything kind of built off that. So I choose the color, I look at the brand. Oh, am I designing for Coke? Am I designing for Facebook? Am I designing for Google? I define the colors. So not only that, in fact, this is even very basic. But what I'll also do is that I'll choose the lower version of the colors. for saturation purposes. Because not every time I'm going to use this blue. I might use a lighter shade of this blue. I might use a darker shade of this blue. So I'll have the blue in the middle. I'll put the light one and the dark one I'm going to use. So every time I have to use a dark one or a light one, I'll know exactly the colors I'm using. I'm buying from Cody, Tanto, yeah. Why would I need a dark version and a light version? Yeah, but why would I want to reduce it fast? Okay. Does anyone want to come up with it? Hmm? Why would I? So I'll say something about having the blue one. I'll have the light version and the dark version. Why? Like slightly lighter, slightly darker. Why would I want to do that? Why can't I just use blue throughout? This blue throughout. Yeah, go for it. Hierarchy. Well, explain what do you mean? Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, round of applause for you guys. So hierarchy is a very big one. Like you saw in that first house design, you saw how the home button was black and gold, and the other one was complaining that it was too light. So what that guy should have done, should have found a lighter version of that one and put it there so you can still see it, but you can see the hierarchy. You can see home is the main thing, then about home is smaller. You get dashboard is the main thing. About the dashboard is smaller. Contrast. Another reason is your users are going to hover your stuff. They're going to put their mouse over the button. How you say that an action has happened? Make it darker, make it lighter. Most times make it darker when you hover, right? So it's good to always define where it was. So the answer was right in you guys' faces. So this is the normal one. Actually, it's the other way around. This is the normal one. This is the one where you hover. Okay? So yeah, this is your same blue. This blue is this blue. But now I've defined what this color is. So anytime you hover, any element that has this blue that has this hover, I'll define what that color will be. So some people choose that when you hover, you have the outline shape, right? So you just define, and all these kind of decisions, remember, design system, back it up. Yeah, you update it. You update it there first before you update it on the website. Something you didn't expect, a particular element you expect from that element came. How come now I'm ready with this now? Sorry, an element came up like that. Okay. Yeah, a lot of movements. Yeah, that's a very good question. What we'll do there is components. So what I'll do is that I'll have my style guide on my XD. I'll have this guy somewhere. I'll define all these things as you guys know how to use components. Okay, great. So I define it as a component. I save that master component here. So if there's anything that happens, I change it here. I change it on all my screens. So if you start using components, that's a very good point. Start using components here. So if you change it here on this style guide, change on all the screens you have on that XD page. The only problem that might happen is if someone wants to add a new element, maybe we didn't have buttons before. Let's start adding buttons for some reason. Then you have to put a button here, start going to each screen and start putting buttons. But it's pretty much easy. You can just copy all the artboards, paste on everything. But it's just that it's a bit more tiresome than just changing it here. That's fine. Okay, good one. So type. Okay, so depending on the brand I'm working on, the communication, I define what kind of font I want to use. So I'll go into the font a bit later. But yeah, same with the color palette. You have a font hierarchy. Do you get it? So I start with my header font, my paragraph, all my small paragraphs look like. Please, in real life, in the practical effect, only work with 3 font sizes, right? 3 font sizes, please. Okay? I'm telling you guys this now. 3 font sizes. So you have your major font size. You could use this for the big landing page. Here I am. This is what we do. What have you? You have your paragraph or whatever you want to call it. So this one could start as the header for each tab. So this is about us, this is about us, or whatever. Then this is now the paragraph font, where it's just your body text. Just write it like that. Please, just those 3 fonts. A lot of designers make the problem of having like 4 or 5 fonts. By the time you go live, by the time you start looking at it, it looks very uncoordinated. So 3 fonts always works. So this body font, right? Try to make this font size the size of your buttons. Right? Don't have exaggerated buttons. People know what to do. Just keep these 2 consistent. Oh, sorry, keep these 2 of the same font size, right? Your header font is usually your landing page font. You only use it once in a while. Then this other font is what you're going to use most times. So this just talks about some other things that you want to define: notification, form elements, text, right? Okay. So this is an input field. So you can have the input field with just 1 line. You have an input field with the full box. It depends. To me, if I'm working with a brand that's kind of like modern, into tech, I'll use this. Very clean. If I'm working with a bank or people that something that I know old people will be using, I'll use this, right? So can you see the decisions you make based on your design system? Are we all learning? Are we all getting stuff? Oh, awesome. Okay, so yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm talking on the size. You can mix the type. 3 font sizes, yeah. Yeah, for the font size, just for the font size, you can mix the type. But even that is tricky. We'll get to font combination. But for the size, please just work with 3 when you're building an interface. So these are just some other things. Okay. All right. Like I said earlier, consistency is key to design. Okay, you are the leader and the follower. Your job is not to only set rules, but to maintain them. Right? Nobody forced you to use blue here. So don't go and use blue here and change. You set the rule and you maintain it. See this interface, very nice. You guys like it, right? I like it myself. And what's selling this interface is the consistency, okay? We have the same font size for everything. Almost everything is the same on every page. The only thing that changes is the name and the background image, okay? Also, keep note of the saturation of this color, all right? So, who knows what saturation is? Who can define what saturation is? That person will impress me if you can. Who wants to try? Saturation. Okay. Okay, good. Almost there. Anyone else wants to try? It's good. It's very good definition. Okay, so saturation, there's no defined thing, but what's the closest thing, closer than that, is just say the distance to white, right? Saturation is the distance to white, okay? So, I should have a color wheel here, I'll just show you. So you know how you have your color wheel, right? You have white and black on this side, and you have the different colors on that side. So saturation is just the distance between that, from here to here, you get. So these guys, what they did is that every color, I need to open XD to explain this thing. Okay. Take this color. All right. So see this, Figma, XD, Photoshop, they all have this color wheel. So now, this is saturation, this line here is your level of saturation. So you have white and black here, then you have the colors here, okay? So now, if you're picking a color, you see this green, red, these colors I picked. I try to maintain this same level. So now if I'm going to pick a blue, let's say this is the blue. Oh yeah, this place is here. I'm going to pick a red. Make it very simple. I'll stay on the same level of saturation. Now I have a blue and a red to use throughout, right? What most designers don't pay attention to is that they'll pick this red and they'll go and say, oh, I want a blue now, and they'll go somewhere here. And if you look at this here now, can you see how, it's very subtle, but can you see how jarring this is? Going from something that is soft, something that's kind of hard. Whereas this two are kind of in the same playground. So how many of us did that? Let me know if I'm repeating myself. Okay, good one. So pay attention to that, please. Okay. So that's another thing that sold. Oh, struggling. That's another thing that sold this design. Level of saturation is consistent. Okay. So in digital products, design language refers to all components that go into visual communication in an interface, right? So design is visual communication, visual talking. It's talking to your audience through the interface, right? So you're saying, oh, go back through here, move down here, scroll to the top, change, you're communicating with the audience through all that, okay? All right, so we're going to do a little exercise. Okay, you guys all have your laptop here. Cool. So we're going to think about three brands or three projects. We have the luxury fashion brand. You can give me who just describe the customer for this luxury fashion brand. Who wants to try? Yeah, like age, what they like, the colors that they think they like, what they do. Who wants to try? Age range. Who wants to try now? Okay, the age range of the fashion brand. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Awesome, that works. So they're pretty young, in the middle. They're adults, they're business. The language app for kids, obviously children under 18 or 16 or something. And the music app for hip hop fans. Anyone could be a hip hop fan, but it's just can't get what they want. Okay, so now what I want everyone to do, I know you guys have fonts on your laptop, right? I want you to show me a font that you use for this luxury fashion brand. Show me a font you use for this app, and show me a font you can do for this music app. So you can even Google a font. Just show me a font for each. I'll give you guys like 5 minutes to do that. I'm try give you hints on what to use. You cannot do this on your phone. You can just search fonts, pick one, open a new tab, pick one, nothing too technical. If you have XD, you could just plug or something. Yeah. Can you guys it's working, right? Everything's going well, right? Yeah. So just to specify, is the font you're using for the interface, not for the logo or something? Okay, anyone ready? ready? Sorry? Sans. S-A-N-S. Sans. S-A-N. Oh, do you have the image of the font? Let me see what it looks like. Please show me images. I want to know what it looks like. Okay. Oh, open sans. It's not open sans. It's open sans. Yeah. Okay. All right. So which one are you using for which? No, there are three. So I said for three. The luxury fashion brand, you use sans serif, open sans. Okay. Why? Is it Montserrat or open sans? Open sans. Okay. Not the same post material happen because they have their own self-interest in different aspects. For this question, I think it was mostly like for nursery. Yes. That's a call. So something that will be very attractive, not like to be stressful, not to follow the rights, it's not this time. All right, great one. So you put that in your design system, right? Okay. Yeah. So I'm looking at a lasso, right? Okay. Why? It actually looks stylish, but still legible. Still cool. Yeah, I'm looking at the language really fun. Okay, yes, choose this. Why? So because it's for children, it's legible and the letters actually look familiar. So I think it will be something that when they see they will understand. Then for the music app, I really don't know the reason why I went for this one. All right, awesome. Also, I like that one. Okay. Yeah, sure. Let's just be fast so that time. Why? Rice. Rice is beautiful. It's also really easy to read. Is that the only app? Like, how about the language app? For the language app, I went to Mystery Quest. Okay. Because it's fancy. I mean, we're actually teaching children to read. So they don't have to be reading something that is very tedious. So that's this big fun thing. See that you can read. And for music app, I use Roboto. Roboto is like straightforward. It's just straightforward. You know what you're looking for. You know why you want music. So you don't need anything so fancy. Okay. Great one. Sorry, okay, let's go. Sorry, I think she wanted to go before you. Let me go. Poppins, right? Awesome. I like Poppins for that one. Nice one. Yeah. Oh, you guys go. Okay, sorry guys, because of time. Sorry I couldn't get to everyone else, but great design decision. You guys are already perfect designers. I like the reason you gave. That's what I was just looking at. The reason why you gave for choosing that font. Okay, so it backs it up. Just a key comment is that when you pick that mystery font app, right? Only use that kind of font sparingly. So you picked a font for the language learning app that was very cursive and the Y was like that. So those kind of fonts, you only use them for like maybe the logo, or maybe you want to like a big landing page text. But throughout the website, always stick to clean sans serif, okay? Clean sans serif, geometric fonts, all right? Always stick to that. Okay? Oh, okay. Awesome. I'm guessing for lots of so fonts should be Playfair. Okay, Playfair is also, I like Playfair, and it's also good in combination. So Playfair is also very nice font, and it works so well when you combine it with the clean sans serif. Okay, so you can never run away from clean geometric fonts. I'll show you what they look like because legibility, readability. So people might like fonts for certain reasons. When it comes to reading, all of us kind of have one eye that we used to read. So they've kind of walked us into using geometric sans fonts, clean, so like Roboto, Helvetica, Avenir. No font is really bad, but all these kind of fonts, Google Sans, all those kind of fonts, they're very easy to read, right? So always use those kind of fonts for your interface, but when doing logo or defining what your brand is, you can play around with that font. You can also do font combinations, which we'll explore. But I love the reason that you guys did for choosing your fonts. Okay, what else do we have here? Okay, so this is what a geometric sans serif looks like, and this is what Times New Roman looks like. So Times New Roman is it's good to use, but try to use it sparingly. Always go for fonts that look like this. It's just neater to read. What do we have here? So yeah, this was the luxury fashion brand. So what they did was they put this Times New Roman as the big major text everywhere, well, in most places. But if you look key in their interface and the things that you're actually going to use, geometric sans serif. So you can't really run away from this. So they're going to be experimental and choose like a bold font, always combine it with a sans serif. Is everyone clear with that? Okay, so for the music learning app, so they use this greatly fonts. They use sans serif throughout. They didn't use any, I know it's for kids and everything, but they still want it, but this one Duolingo. But still, it's, but yeah, young people can use this app as well. So you have to use clean fonts, easy to read fonts. Okay. All right. So just going back to this guy. Right. So anybody have any questions on typography? I just want to move fast so that we don't run out of time. On type, because that's what we just talked about, choosing the right font, choosing the font size. What I say about font sizes, guys? Always stick to 3 font sizes, okay? All right, so let's talk a little bit about colors. Okay, cool. All right, the colors you use should be clear and intentional. Colors should follow a brand guideline as well as guide your users through the experience, okay? Choose an image of a very colorful app just to show that point. Now, when working with a brand, obviously you have to use the brand's colors. Most of the time, sometimes we create the brand ourselves and we can define the colors. Sometimes we inherit the brand. So the brand has been established, we can't really do much, we work with those colors. So there are certain rules that you have to follow. So you have to define what your action button looks like. So this is a button that I'm going from screen to screen to screen, like a go or a learn more or about us, whatever it might be. So you define one that looks like, define the color for that, say primary color. I also define what your secondary color will look like as well. So you can have like a go back, you can have like a discard. So that color should never ever be your primary color because you don't want your users to go back. No one knows to discard, right? Then you have your danger colors that warning signs, always in red, never any other color but red. So those are colors like remove, delete. So always define those colors. So those colors are really, they're set in stone. You can't say, oh, I'm working with GT Bank, so I want, sorry, not GT Bank, I'm working with Sterling Bank, so I want their delete to be white or something. Nah, it's red. It's red. Their colors, their brand is red, but that delete is red. So you can play around. So if I'm working with Sterling Bank, here's a design channel. I'm working with Sterling Bank. Their go button or their next button can be red because we all know delete and remove is red. So I have to now think about how color to use, probably maybe blue or green or whatever. Just turn that will be white. You can't use red for forward. Please, any designer that uses red for any brand to go forward, it's a conflict. So it's a funny challenge to have when working with brands like that. You inherit the brand's colors, but you define the colors you use to the interface. Is everyone clear about that? Awesome. All right, so this is just a brief thing on what colors mean. Every UX person should have a general idea on this, just how different colors make different people feel, and why, if you're choosing a color, some reasons you can have to back why you're choosing that color. Okay. All right. So anytime you're designing an interface, there are two, like I just said now, there are two major things to consider. There's brand alignment and the user flow, right? So brand alignment, this is the tone of voice of the brand, right? You have to always define it. Back in that design system I showed you guys, you have to put where you say tone of voice and list out everything. Like we saw with the Atlassian brand, they have decided their tone of voice. They are bold, they are comfortable, whatever. They are, what else could be part of tone of voice? They are optimistic, they are vibrant, they are modern, they are young. All this just paints a picture of a brand, right? If you think of certain brands, you think of certain things, they just make you, so brands kind of define how we feel about them, okay? So call the, maybe the reputation they have, or the colors they use, or the experience you have with that brand, we have a tone of voice. So if I'm going to pick a website now, I always ask the copy person or the business dev person, what is your tone of voice? You have to tell me, that will inform most of the decisions I make. So the fonts. So most brands have their own fonts that they're using. Sometimes if you're starting up the brand, you create your own fonts. The same with the colors and images, okay? So images, you have to be consistent with images throughout. If you're using illustrations for a website, please make sure as much as you can, maybe not every time, keep using illustrations throughout the website. Don't start the website with one nice guy looking fly, I scroll down, start seeing illustrations, I scroll down again, I see images, like, I'll just say, man, I don't know what this guy is doing. So let them be consistent feel. You can start off with a nice image on top, and you start off with illustrations, but make sure throughout you're keeping it illustrations, you're keeping the images, so that there's nothing jarring. So when I think of the brand, I know exactly what to think about. If I think of a bank, if I think of an old school bank, I think of pictures, right? I think of like, let's say GT Bank, for example now. I think of like a picture of a woman shopping or happy. That's what I'm thinking about. But I think of a Wallet or NG or Paystack, all these guys. They rarely have faces. They're usually icons, illustrations. So always always know the guideline they're going to follow. That's for brand alignments. That's you and the brand. Now, everything here is on you. What did I say about you in terms of making the law leader? You guys, don't you tell me what I said before? You're a leader and a follower, okay? So here, you're the one that's choosing what the buttons look like. I don't think there's any brand in the world that said, Peter, this is our button, we'll use it like this. They're always very flexible around that. So you define what the button look like, you define what the cards look like, you define what navigation looks like, you define what layouts, and so many other things. So many other things. How many of us have designed apps before? Or a screen on an app or something? Cool. Have you designed for Android before? Okay. Have you designed for iOS before? Okay, cool. So now you know Android has something called material.io. You know about material.io, right? Material design. Please, everyone here should just, after this lesson, just go through material.io. They talk a lot about design decisions, very helpful. So they go in depth, they talk about the space that you leave between a button and the next element. They talk about how high the elevation should be on certain buttons. Everything is covered there. Material.io, guys, very good resource for just understanding how different things work. Okay? Material.io, like material, then .io. Okay? So, all right. So this is just some guideline on how colors work in user flow. So anytime I see green, I know that something is good, bad, some general guidelines. Okay. I've talked about most of these things. So here's design language as well. Sorry guys, one house. Remember what I said. All right, so we have design language, talking about how the size of your buttons. For some reason, you could have, especially when you're doing apps, you could have some buttons that are bigger than the others. You have some buttons that are disabled. You have the outline button. So always decide what the button should look like, the feel, I'll also point something out that's very interesting. So this is something that's happened pretty recently. If you see this font, if you see this color of this button, right? It's actually just a slightly darker shade of this background button. It's very, very nice. You guys should actually try that. What I've done in this button, I want to make it white. I'll make it a very light shade of this blue. There's just something very aesthetic about that and very friendly. Because remember, they're working with saturation, the eyes, how people feel. If you have blue and white, it's kind of jarring. But if you have a blue that's close to white and a blue that's close to blue, it has a calmer effect. An outline, that's fine. And you have, so all these buttons mean different things. So the add button has the green, the remove button has minus. Basic stuff we should always remind ourselves about. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not conventional name. I'm just naming it just like that. No. Don't follow this naming analogy. I'll just focus more on the font sizes and the buttons. But ideally, you call this your primary button, your disabled button, your outline button, right? And just a point to that. So I'm going to take this little segment now to just talk about career and UI UX people. Okay, very important segment. So there's product design, right? There's graphic design. There's UI UX. There's front-end development. There's back-end development. What else? What else is there? What else am I missing out in tech? What other role? Apart from the other roles, like those copy as well. Yes, person that is giving you content, the text to write. We usually call them a copy person. Person in charge of copy, copywriter. Yeah. So we call all these texts that you're seeing, all those paragraphs, call them copy. Now these are people that you work very closely with, right? Sometimes you might want to be the bad guy and do everything yourself. I know people like that, full stack everything, full stack designer, full stack engineer, they also want all the money in the world, full stack everything. But knowing this, you have to always, it's like a chain, right? So I'm a graphic designer. I define what the logo should look like. I define all those things talk about brand alignment. I define it there. So I passed off my style guide for you to create your design language, your design library, okay? So the graphic designer always passes it down to the UI UX person, right? So the UI UX person comes in, they look at it and be like, oh, okay, so I can start building out my stuff from there. Now your job is to pass it to the front end person, okay? So always think about it, but you're not just designing to keep there. It's going to be functional. Someone's going to go in to create this app. And the reason why I mentioned earlier is that front end guys always hate UI UX guys because they always create something that's outlandish. They'll go and do something that like, they'll go on scratching, oh, how do I create this thing? Do you get? That's why they don't like UI UX guys. And also, front-end people are never as key in detail as UI UX people are. They're never as intentional. They're more focused about this should just work. It shouldn't break. It shouldn't crash. So the thing about passing it off to them is that you want to make sure that you're labeling it very neatly, right? So like I made this mistake I made now is terrible, right? I should have called this the small primary button, regular primary button, the disabled button, and the outline, right? So now if I'm a front-end person, the person doesn't need me to say, oh, Peter, I'm having this issue. When do I use this? Where do I use this? Even XD does this thing. Who knows this plugin called Copy CSS to Clipboard? Do you know it? You know it, right? Exactly. So when I pick any element, I can see the CSS for that. So CSS essentially, for anyone that doesn't code here, is cascading style sheets. So it's what they do to make the code look like your design. So all the color, the margin, the space, the font size, everything is part into that CSS as well. So you want to make sure that you're labeling this thing very correct. I'm just trying to chunk everything together. Who knows Zeppelin? Zeppelin? Right, so Zeppelin is the handoff tool that designers use to developers. So on Zeppelin, I can just export all these things. And if it's correctly labeled, as a developer, I can pick up everything. I don't need to disturb you for anything as well. Even us ourselves, if some UI UX, sometimes you do front end, you have to know a little bit of front end. So where I work, before Gene, sometimes we have like core developers and we have the UI UX people. There's no really a front end person. So UI UX people are now trying to like transition. Sometimes they transition their work into front end. So we start off doing the design, then after we just start writing the code for it. So there's this kind of like, you don't have to. Some organizations are very big that have, you know, the middle front end guys. Sometimes it's very good to know. It has helped me. Learning to write front end, HTML, CSS, JavaScript will actually help my design because you now start knowing what those guys are going through. So you now you start designing better to suit them, and the things I didn't even notice like padding, margin, all these things, you start noticing them. Right, that's my little segue on career. Okay, so we talked about this brand alignment, personality, consistency. Yeah, font choices. So I think we do a little exercise about this. All right, so this is the difference between serif and sans serif. So the old Google font was a serif font, right? So it had the very curved, I don't know what to call it, curved edges. I don't know what to call it. Stylish edges. Let's just put it like that. So in the middle, it kind of looks all right, but the edges, yeah. It reminds me of all these old Western movies where they always have that. This thing. Yeah, so these days everyone is moving towards sans serif. Keep it clean, keep the edges kind of rounded and straight. Okay, so yeah, this is what I want to talk about with font combinations. Someone online mentioned Playfair Display. I really like that font. Playfair Display works very well when you combine it with like all everything here. So so if you have this font, which looks like a sans serif, it's not exactly a sans serif, but it looks like a sans serif, and you combine it with a stylish font like this, it works very well, right? Especially when you're doing like landing pages or headers, that font combination is very good. But only use that sparingly. Like doing font combination, always use it sparingly. Throughout, because of consistency, you want to make sure you're using one font, right? Okay. So yeah, this is just font weight. So another thing about combination, they can choose a font that has a heavy weight and a font that is thinner, has a light weight. It also works very well in design. Okay, but make sure that the one that has the heavy weight is your action point. Okay, so if you want to say something like, let me say, improving the African population or something like that, I wouldn't make improving the one in bold. I'll put African population in bold. I'll make sure the improving be in this lighter fonts, so that the user knows exactly what I should be paying attention to. Okay. Yeah. So since combining these two, right? So sans serif, yeah, I'll say that. In design, they're not really general rules, but yeah, the reason why is that serif looks, like if you guys can just cut off these parts, you see this T, it's almost like that T, this E, it's almost like this E, just above on the edges. So they're too similar to work. Do you understand? But if they're different, like Playfair, very costly font, and this, it works, right? So that's like that's a good general rule. Don't combine any sans and sans serif. Okay, talk about font size. All right, so this is just a brief thing about font size, right? Like I said before, 3 fonts. I mean, 3 font sizes. So you have the header font, right, on your app. So this is bold, it's big. I can see the headline from miles away. It works very well. If I want to know a little bit about the story, I look at this. It's in different font size, right? A lot of people don't just read the headline, they want to read a little bit more about the story to make it different font size. But things that they're important, but not really as important as these 2 guys in smaller font size. So this font size, I hope is exactly the same. It should exactly be the same as this font size, right? So this could just say the category of what it is, and maybe fashion, the headline, or this. But these guys should be the same, whereas you have you can call it anything, the header, the paragraph, or anything. So this design works well. I mean, you guys have to admit, it works well. It tells you what you can do. Similar to this one here, the person's name, which is important, their role, the number of events they've attended or whatever here. So it's just that consistency. You have big, small, different weights. You even have different colors. So this is very dark, and this is gray, sort of. Yes, very key thing. How many of us have used hashtag 00000? No. Why is it FFFFF? 0000. You've used it. Please don't use it. That is black. Designers never use black. Always use one form of gray. Never ever use black. It all started with printing, right? Printers can never print through black. 000 to destroy all their ink. It's how ink is formed and all that. Destroy all their ink. So designers took it upon themselves to never ever use true black. So any designer that's been doing it for years never uses true black. So always use some form of gray. So this is very dark gray. This is light gray. Yeah. Even when you're talking amongst yourself, don't be saying black. Say gray. Gray. It's very weird, but it's gray. Dark gray, light gray. Because that true black doesn't work. Doesn't work on web. It definitely doesn't work on print. Right. Okay. The only place to use true black is when you're doing an overlay. So use true black and then use the opacity. But even at that, it's not true black. So nobody wants to see true black. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I want to talk briefly about alignments. All right. So this is where I work. 54 June. This was a while ago. I think it was in June. So you guys can criticize. Please criticize my design. Criticize it. Someone should say something mean about it. Because this is me in June last year, so I can criticize it as well. So I guys roasted that last guy. Now because I say it's my own, I don't want to roast it. Nothing. It's perfect. Yeah, I did. Okay, that is key. To defend myself, I would say from a user point of view, you already know health test Macy, buy kits is here, buy kits is here. I didn't want to now say kits here again. It's kind of like redundant. So I chose to use this one rather than that one. What was also precise? Yes. Want to precise it? Yeah, it's taken from the green. What? Yeah, the pink from the logo. Yeah, I used it for this one. Yeah. Anyone want to say anything about that? I can't see the navigation. I can't see the navigation. Which one? Oh, home. It's on the same side. Wait, no, I can find myself. This and this are the same size. So I'm consistent. But this and this are not the same size. This and this are not the same size. So ideally, what would I have done? I would have increased this one a little bit. Okay? I'll define this as my paragraph type. I'll reduce this one a little bit. So that this guy and this guy match. Right? Because it's jarring. Help me is big. This one small. This one. I'd have made this two consistent, and I'd also made this guy consistent with this guy. So at this point here, I only have two font sizes. This would have worked. Should have done that. So thank you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, they actually have the same color. I think it's just a projector. It's white. Which outline? This text here. This one I'm pointing. This one here. This one here. Okay. For it to come out better, okay? Yeah, let's blame the projector. It's a projector actually. You can actually read it clearer. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, someone could say that. Someone might say I have too many colors going on. These kids themselves are already colorful. Why am I now saying I should get serious? What's wrong with you, Peter? Get serious. This is not a playful for me. So this was me in July, right? Looking at the same design, it kind of follows some design principles. Or like apart from all the things I said, what I would do. So this is the hover button, right? Rather than having yellow, and I'm not going to say a darker shade of gray. So when you're hovering, you know that it's gray, but still everything's kind of like mute. There's not so many colors going on. Because the logo itself is colorful. These kits are very colorful. I don't need to make things colorful again. Like you guys said, I'll probably make our kits. I'll probably make these fonts just like two sizes, at least for now. So yeah. Another thing that is very key that I know most of you are doing because you can't survive 2 months without doing this alignment. Okay? Please, if you don't use alignment grids or rulers or guides, raise up your hand. You guys all do. I'll come and check your project. So every single time you use it, everywhere. When this week, oh. So Yes, it sounds like, but when you're really designing stuff, it's very important. Some other designers are very key with grids, okay? They would say, obviously this block has to be in the middle, right? But they'll go as far as saying, from here to here must maintain the same as from here to here, and this weight must be the same as this font size should be the same as this line height. I'm not that kind of designer. I design. Oh, okay. Yeah, ruler. So if you're using Figma or XD, you can just drag outside the artboard. There's like a little other thing here. Just drag it to here, drag it to the other side. So as you're dragging it, it will tell you, oh, from here is 0 to wherever it is. Yeah, exactly. So just make sure that it's consistent on both sides. Yeah, you should have point grade for this. Yeah. Not every time, oh. We web on the mobile. No. I use grid for mobile, a grid system for mobile, but not 12 points. So, but not every time. Like I said before, I design with my eye, right? Because if you guys check the Google logo, Google, one of the most successful companies in the world, their logo is not even mathematically correct. There's one nice designer on YouTube, if I can share the link with you guys. He took the logo is supposed to be like concentric circles that will form the G. But at the end of that G, there's like a big gap, and they're using it everywhere. But what the guy even noticed is that if you have that concentric logo that looks perfect, mathematically perfect, and you have the one that is misplaced at this side, the one that is misplaced looks better. Do you understand? Human beings are flawed. We're just a flawed bunch of people. We always choose something that looks a little bit off over something that is actually perfect. So what I normally do, right, I could use all this grid and everything, but sometimes I'll just move my glasses like this, look at it like this, and be like, man, move this thing down, move this thing up, move this thing left, move this thing right. And most times it works. I'm not giving you guys bad advice. So. I'm not giving you guys bad advice, but really it works because when you start getting into this grid thing, I don't know. It's just, yeah, it limits creativity, and it's not exactly how we see things. You get? So there's this emotional, and also what I even do sometimes, just to make sure that it's not just me, I'll do one with perfect grid, I'll do the other one with not perfect grid. I'll say, oh, my clients or my users, anyone choose. Most times they always choose that one. So just do the both of them. Use your own eye, guess. Sometimes you have to exactly use what the grade is, but some other times you can just adjust by it. Not too much. I'm going to say, this one, push it up. Maybe just 1 or 2. Just press your down button, 1, 2. Your up, left, right. Not go and go crazy. Please. I'm not responsible for bad design. Oh, okay. How long do we have left? Are you guys tired? Should I keep on talking? Okay. I don't really have so many slides left. I can just look at stuff together.
So if you tell us how you got into design.
Oh, I didn't. You should have asked me now. Let me talk about that one. Okay, let's talk about that one. Oh, that's good. Okay, so a very funny story. Okay, I started off with Photoshop when Photoshop came out. CS4, Photoshop CS4. I started off when I was very young. I won't tell you how old I was. When I was very young, I started off doing album covers. Music. I had friends that were into music, so I always do their song covers, album covers on Photoshop. Right. That triggered the design in me. Photoshop is not really. I would say Photoshop is like a photo-based software, while Illustrator, XD, Figma, they are design-based, vector-based software. So I actually started doing Photoshop like that. I always wanted to do something creative. That one is, I was a creative. I used to do comics, drawing, writing, all those kind of things. But my dad said I should go to school for engineering. Like, in my house, either be a doctor, lawyer, or engineer. I don't want to hear anything design or photography. I was going to be a photographer at one point. Photographer, writer, nothing. Those 3 things. So I was trying to send me to UK and everything. And I was like, you know what, let me just pick engineering. Since I was good in physics, let me pick engineering. So I went to UK for mechanical engineering. But as soon as I got in, I started doing design projects, Photoshop projects. I continued my photography stuff, editing it. I was doing that on the side while doing my schooling. So as soon as I graduated, I just told him, here's my degree. Bam. I'm not doing anything engineering. It's going to be engineering, it's going to be software engineering, but even that, I'm going straight to pursue design. So in about 2014, which is not so long ago. I did an internship in Yaba. I was an intern graphic designer. And from there, I just started taking on this. I worked there for a long time. I started on taking on projects. I moved from, I say, graphic designer to like product designer, right, which involved a little bit of UI UX. Then from doing graphic design, I just fell in love with UI UX. So I like talking to people. I like designing for people. I like talking to users. And the thing with UI UX I like so much is the data. Like I like the UX part of it. Actually getting data, talking to your users, and backing up, like even this design system, backing up all these things with data is very useful. In graphic design, the problem I used to run into was that I'll design a logo, someone just can't say it's not fine, it's not nice. And I'll look at it and say, for no reason. No, this is like nothing. I'll start thinking, there was one project I did, I designed 27 logos. I don't know, like, my logo design process then was very stringent. I'll start with paper, I'll do this, I'll scan it, it was crazy. I designed 27 logos. The back and forth was so crazy. I designed 27 logos. So I said, no more. I still love graphic design. Every day I look at posters and logos. And still, when it comes to like my occupation, what I want to do, this is it. User experience, user interface design. This is it. It's, and to be honest, you guys are in a very lucky field. Anyone who is here that's having doubts, should I do this? Please do it. It's a growing industry. Once you are good, you can get a job anywhere. Once you are really, really good, show them your portfolio, show them what you can do, you can get a job anywhere. If your mind is even for entrepreneurship, you can start doing projects. People need websites every day. People need apps every day. So it's a very good industry to go into. But it's a very challenging industry as well. Like most of my friends have started UI UX. So I'm then moving to being a developer. So it's even easier than UI UX because you're interfacing with people. I know how people can be, right? So it's a very, and also the timeline is crazy, and you're designing under creativity. I mean, you're stressing creativity on that timeline, which is very mad. Like, oh, I need something by the end of today. And you get like your creativity, what if you're not feeling fine that day? What if you're in a mood that day? You have to now force creativity out of it. So it's very challenging. But I'll say it's also very rewarding. The whole world is moving towards this. About 3-4 years ago, I didn't hear UI UX as much as I'm hearing UI UX now. But people are seeing the importance. Everyone's platform is getting neater. The average website today doesn't look too bad. Like websites, you guys just Google websites back then. Terrible. But the average website today doesn't look too bad. So that means a lot of progress is making. I'm making, yeah. That's really my story. That's where I am now. I worked at Team Apps for a bit. So they do a lot of banking apps. So you guys know Team Apps? Yeah. They do a lot of banking apps, which really helped me with my app design journey, right? But after that one, I'm working for these guys now, 54 Gene, and we do like healthcare research. Just a fun fact that most of the drugs we take are not made for Africans. So we're doing a lot of research on getting drugs that work for African people. So there are a lot of platforms that are going to that. There's like a lab platform, there's a consumer platform, that one I showed you. There's the normal main website. There's a provider site. There are so many sites, so many apps, so many things I'm designing for. But it's fun. It's a very rewarding journey. And if you pick this, you're on the right track, no doubt. There's a graphic designer that's leading into UI UX, but yeah, I'm the only designer there, and I work with 7 or 8 developers, and they stress my life. Yeah. Yeah, Behance. I have a Behance page. I'll show you my Behance page. I have Behance. Peter on design. Look at it. You can criticize me. I don't update it as much as I should update it, but yeah. So what I initially did was, that's an interesting question. Because when I was working initially, I couldn't really put my company's work there. I didn't even want to, because they were forcing me to design nonsense. So I used to just I used to build things I wanted to see. Do you understand? So let's say there's an app that, what do I like? Who's a Man U fan here? Exactly. So let's say there's an app just for Man U news or Man U rumors. I'll build that. Anything I want to see. Maybe an app that will tell me the latest movie. I'll just think about what that should look like and build that and put on my portfolio. So that really helped me. So these apps don't exist, but I'll build them and put them there. Another thing that helped me was I used to do like improvement projects. So I'll see something that doesn't exist and I'll say, oh, how it could be better. Like hotels and NG, I'll look at their site, how it could be better, explain why. It really helps with a portfolio. Then another thing that helped me get a portfolio very fast was free projects. Initially, I was just doing some things for free. Like my guy will need something, a website for free. Because if you say I'm doing something for free, man, the whole world will rush you. So you have enough projects that you do for that period. And when you now have something that looks good, like a strong portfolio, then you start putting price to it. And even wait till you have so many projects, maybe just 2 or 3 projects, put a price to it, start marketing yourself. A lot of people need these things, like I said. You don't need the fanciest portfolio. Your portfolio just needs to be defined, right? The reason why I don't even have a lot of stuff on Behance is that I kind of most UI UX work I do for my company and it's in-house, right? And I'm not trying to, anything I do else that is outside, I don't really do UI UX outside. Anything I do outside is probably, I do it to After Effects animation or maybe graphic design, stuff like that. And when you're doing your portfolio, things kind of clash, you get. So what you have to do is, if you're doing a very nice portfolio, focus it on one thing, like a very niche market. So if I'm doing a portfolio now, I'll say I want to just do it on desktop apps. Do you understand? I'll do like 5 things, desktop apps. Anyone that needs a desktop app will hire me. And I have another backup portfolio and say I do websites. 5 very clean, almost the same look, like how I put, almost the website that follows the same template. It's better to have 5 of the same looking websites than have one website that has this color. As I was like, person who does like, person knows what they're doing. Pick a niche, can be desktop apps, mobile apps, user interfaces, software, and do like 5 things for that and move your portfolio. People will like that. Any other questions?
I was watching a video today, and I was saying there's one part in the video where they were like, it was a vision, like, it was a documentary vision. So they were like, designers like the so they asked one guy from Super, because he said video design, and another said design, designer, how the design manager, different people. What do you think?
Yeah. That's a perfect question. Yeah, okay. I'll say, I'm a UI UX designer, user experience, user interface designer. I take what I see, what I learn, data, and I do designs on that. That's why I do. Now, a product designer is more biz dev. In the reality, a product designer doesn't even touch all these colors and all this. The person works with wireframes. Wireframes. It talks to, like, let's have a bank now. I'm saying we need a new banking app. I'll talk to my product designer. Oh, yeah, get me wireframes. Person can even carry biro and paper. This box will take you to this screen and all that. And I hand off to my user experience person. So product designers rarely touch colors and fonts and all these things, just direction. What your products should do, right? There are other things, again, there are different roles, but the thing about these roles, right? Okay, let me even explain why it's like this. The industry is very new, you get. It's very, very new industry. People are finding out things like every day. Even the history of the web, before the front-end guys and the back-end guys were the same guy. Do you get? But because back-end grew so much, SQL, back-end, Django, MongoDB, all these things, one person, I can't do it, so I'm a back-end person, call a front-end person, right? The front-end guy will now come in and be like, Node.js, React, Angular, please, I can't do design and this. I need UI experience person. UI UX from us are not coming in and say, we can't do it, so we need UX researcher. This first, I heard UX researcher the other day, I was like, okay. I do get. So like, it's just a growing field and people don't really know what to call themselves, right? And I think let's do it based on what you do on a day-to-day basis. Just on what you do on a day-to-day basis. If I wasn't doing so much design, I would say I'm a UX researcher. I would say I'm a UX something. You get focus on UX. Maybe not designer. I can say UX engineer, UX researcher. You get, so it depends on what you do. Yeah. No. That's a different question. Not Nigeria. Nigeria. God, can we talk about Nigeria for like a second? Nigeria is just a very stressful country. We're not supposed to have so many full stack people when it comes to development, front end, back end. We're not supposed to. In fact, it's not good for the project. The project is suffer if someone is doing both the front end and the back end. So anyone that knows back end should focus on back end. Like saying the guy that is your carpenter should be your plumber. You'll be scared now, do you get? So, but Nigeria is a place that, because of the price, everything's unrealistic. The cost is unrealistic. The timeline is unrealistic. So that means your role too has to be unrealistic. So it's, I won't advise someone to just be a UX researcher in Nigeria. You can start it off here. You can build your portfolio, design, and focus on getting a job outside. Because you'll be more focused. If your passion is real UX, you don't like design, focus on getting a job outside. But you can do the two of them, because the two of them kind of marry at some point. Yeah, I think UI UX is actually a very good role. Yeah, I like that question. Any other question?
What should you use?
Me?
So we have this,
It's XDO. It's XDO. Wait. Oh, I thought Figma would be more. Are you a Figma person? No, I don't like people slander XD, man. I like there's no lights. Figma is collaborative. When I worked at Team you have to speak, talk, dress, swallow, Figma, because there are more designers. Do you get? There are more designers, and by the time you do this style guide, by the time you're working on these screens, someone else is working on another screen on the same page using what they're using, and Figma's collaboration is sweet. Even when internet is slow, you can see the guy's mouse still moving. So Figma is very, very good. But the problem, one problem with Figma is I don't know why they haven't done. Have they done offline Figma? They haven't done. You can't walk offline. Yeah, that's something that you'll be able to use. Yeah, it doesn't save. Exactly. XD saves everything locally. Yeah, the Figma plug is they need to work on me offline. That's why. And the reason about so when I worked at Smart, right, I used to have two of them. I used to have Figma and XD. So when I get home and there's no light or the gen is I'll still be able to do my work there. But since I'm working with these guys and I'm the only core designer, I can work on XD. I haven't touched Figma in I don't know how many months. So if you're working in a team, you have to use Figma. XD's collaboration is embarrassing. It is those guys. So I do something, right? The other person that is working on the same stuff with me will see it. You don't tell the person, if you want to keep this person's changes, you want to reject this person's changes. Before you know it, everything is just a mess. So Figma is better for collaboration. If you're working in a company with like 5-6 designers, you guys use Figma. If you're working by yourself in your own project, use XD. And the reason why I use XD is because I'm in the Adobe ecosystem, right? I started off with Photoshop. I do a lot of stuff on Illustrator. I do a lot of stuff on After Effects. So it's very easy to import. Whereas Figma, I'll start converting to SVG, carry from SVG, bring it here. So that's why I'm an Adobe person. Yeah, so Adobe for the win. But yeah, it's good to learn it too. But they're very similar tools. There's not really a big difference between them. In fact, there's so many now. InVision has come to Windows. Before I didn't even use InVision because I didn't have a Mac at all. Yeah, it's not the tool, it's the what's it called? It's not the designer. I was trying to say the worksman or something. It's not the tool, designer, because at the end of the day, it's what you're coming out with. No one's going to ask you. Your real users are going to ask you, do you use XD? Do you use this? Just what makes your work simpler. I prototype on XD. XD's prototyping was actually improved, right? But I've heard the other better prototyping tools. My prototype on XD. It works. Well, Figma's prototyping is good because I think it has that device background, like I put it on a device and see how it looks and all that. Yeah, it's good. But I mean, how is prototype going for you guys? Prototyping. Interactions, right? I just think that focus on the design. Forget the tool you are using, unless the tool is giving you stress. The tool is giving you stress. Find an alternative. How many people use InVision here? Nobody use InVision. Okay, InVision is actually pretty good as well. If once interaction, once you just say, man, I want my button to fly up after this thing happens, do InVision. InVision is very good. InVision Studio, yeah, InVision, yeah. They've come to Windows. I think it came to Windows last year. It wasn't on Windows before, yeah. Sketch. Not too many marks here. Okay. Zero mark. Sketch is pretty good. Sketch has more plugins than XD. But like I said, the whole Windows, Mac, make my life easy. I don't want to go and do something on my, because I used to have my Windows PC on my company Mac. And I start saying, I've done my stuff on Sketch. Come here, I can't do anything. Just edit on everything. Oh, it will save to the cloud?
Yes.
No, I'm saying that if I was using Sketch on Mac and something happened to that laptop, I know Sketch is not on Windows. So what would I even use to get that stuff there? There's no like. Oh, okay. So all that stuff. Don't worry about it too much. I don't know. This is the core thing is this, the design. That's cool. Any other questions? You guys are doing as we don't have any time limit. I can talk from now to tomorrow. Five, right? Okay, that's fine. As long as it takes. I don't like that. I don't like that question. That question is, if I say it takes you 6 months and what you had in your mind was 3 months, you'd be like, do you get? Well, realistically though, I'll just say for it to get really, really good, maybe like 6 to 8 months, you get really, really good. And what will actually speed up that process is the number of projects you take. The actual start doing real work very fast. Okay, a lot of people get into UX. They're doing a lot of flamboyant things. Find real people that need real UX, have real UX problems. Start solving them very fast. That would help. Any other question? Huh? Oh, let me even show you my down script so you guys can criticize it. Nobody asked me about wireframes or anything about sketching or. You already know that one, have you? How do you exit this? Okay. All right. So this project landed me the job I'm currently in. So I was freelancing for a bit, and I started on the 95. So I started doing like projects and applying for different roles. So okay. So what I did was that I used this app, Google Podcasts, for podcast, right, on my phone. It's a lovely app. I used to use, what I used to use for podcast again? Huh? What? No, yeah, Anchor, not a lot of people on Anchor. Like the library is not as wide. But yeah, Anchor was one of them. It's another app, I can't remember. Was it iTunes Podcast? Back then, I'm saying like, I mean like 5-6 years ago. Yeah, so I used to use iTunes Podcast. I don't know what happened to that. I just fell out of the iTunes ecosystem. I used to have an iPhone, Mac. I fell out of everything. So I started using Google Podcasts. I listen to a lot of design or tech podcasts, right? I was using on my phone. But like, what I used to do was out in traffic on my way home, I would listen to podcasts. So like, for one reason or another, I wanted to continue the podcast on the desktop and everything. And I realized, man, these guys don't have a desktop version. And I was like, Google that has this ecosystem. You check your Google Maps here, check your Google, everything has linked. You don't even have the podcast. I made this project angry. I made this project very angry. So I imagine what the Google podcast version will look like for desktop and the web. So ideally, what I wanted was that when I'm done listening to my podcast on my phone, I go home, I continue exactly where I stopped on that same podcast, similar to Deezer, Spotify, all those guys. A very seamless desktop version, focused on the Google ecosystem. So using their colors, their icons, all those things, keep that intact, and just get what that would look like. Okay. So from a UX point of view, I defined the problem. So this long story I just told you now, summarizing to this. So yeah, UX researcher, just big names. So blah, 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 blah. So it asks you to create a desktop podcast with personalized recommendations. Yeah, this is something I also wanted. So what they don't have on the app is personalized recommendations. So what they should do is that what you're listening to, they'll just start recommending things that are in that bracket. They don't have that. Similar to your Netflix now. You know when you're watching Netflix, recommended for you. So I don't want to integrate that. Hey, sorry. All right. So for UX, you have to do a lot of research. Okay? Anchor on this thing. Anchor is not even here. That's weird. Oh, this is from Anchor. So I did a lot of research to see that Apple Podcasts, formerly iTunes Podcast, has 52%. Google Podcasts, the thing that I listen to, Google is 0.9%, guys. Isn't that the weirdest thing ever? What is Overcast? What is Stitcher? They are championing Google, right? Spotify as well. I didn't know do a podcast on Spotify. It's robust, right? I would have tried it. Yeah, but these guys, I was wondering what was wrong.
Is it easy to get podcasts?
It's very easy. That's why I was surprised. No, you can't. People are using VPN, you can't. All right, so I also did this thing. I took like a user on Twitter are not happy. I just Google Podcasts, started reading people's tweets. Everyone was saying I'm frustrated. And creative, like this is actually real. More people complaining, still more people complaining. What does you guys say? Is there any way to access the podcast subscription to make a new at least the website? Oh, I used Adobe Illustrator. So what I just did was just create a background, keep the alignment the same, and just start dumping screenshots on it. Let's exit this as well. Okay. So when you type in Google Podcast, the first thing that comes up is these two things, desktop and web, just to show how high the demand is. So when you're doing projects like this, don't just do it out of actually get data to help you do this. Okay. So I actually now did a survey. I was working in a co-working space, and I just started talking to guys there to see, okay, what do you like in your podcast? What kind of features do you want to add to your podcast? So obviously a desktop version. Most of them are listening to podcasts or using a desktop version. Recommendation stuff, people also like it as well. Some podcasts couldn't comment or like on it. Then dark mode, which I love so much. How many of you guys love dark mode? So dark mode was one of the last things, and sharing. People don't really care about sharing their podcast. Okay, so I just started asking people like, oh, rank this from 1 to 5. Which one is more important to you? 1 to 5, just to get some useful data. Okay, so obviously the desktop version was the highest thing. Yes, what I say, how often would you use the Google Podcast desktop? So I asked people that use Google Podcast, not so many of us, but I asked them how many would use it. So some people that work on their laptop a lot, will say, or from somebody that use their phone a lot, will say rarely. So as you can see, I started defining what the target audience would look like. So before you even start setting your fonts or your colors or all those things, what does your target audience look like? Those are the things that inform those decisions. So I started thinking, well, it's probably a young person, probably in their 20s to 40s. I don't know any 50-year-old that listens to podcasts, but they're in that niche. There are probably people that have a commute, that go to work. Just start defining all those things. All right. So still, I went to go and disturb. As you express people, you have to disturb people a lot. So I still disturb people. How often do you use in podcast? What application do you use? What do you like most? What are the key issues you face on the app? What would you like to see? So just like getting a lot of feedback. What's going on here? Sorry. Hello? I'll call you back. Okay. So yeah, competitive product research. So what you should also do is look at other products that look like what you want to build, right? There's always something that they are not doing that you can start plugging into. So I looked at most of this, Stitcher, and all those guys I got that research from. I looked at what they are doing, and I was like, okay, most of these things are nice, and incorporate features where you like, add features where you feel are beneficial. Yes, there's something called affinity mapping, all right? So when you're talking to people, there are open-ended questions. This called UX worker. There are open-ended questions like, what would you like to see in your podcast? Do you get? So rather than, let me say, do you like this button? Yes or no. The only data you're getting is 1 or 0. But if you now ask people, what would you like to see in your podcast? What kind of features give you problem? Start giving you long stories. So what you now do, you document all those stories and you arrange them into the broad, what they're really saying. And so people say that they want a better design, put them in one category and say, if you're looking for design decisions, see, because what affinity mapping has to do. You're doing a lot of UX work. You do this kind of thing. Yeah, to the design part. So UX flow, before you do your wireframe, you do a UX flow. So you start off with what's the user's journey? How do they go from launching your app to getting what they want? So you log in, you see the homepage, this thing's so small, I can't see it. I don't know, bad design. Who designed this? Yeah, so you see all that activity, and the final thing, which is actually listening or saving your podcast. Okay. Right. So these are sketches. How do you guys do your sketches, please? Do you hand draw your sketches? Do you use a ruler? Do you don't even do sketches at all? Hand drawn, right? Yeah, I think it's faster. Yeah. So do some sketches, just know what it's looking like. Some people like using rulers. I think rulers are actually pretty cool. Yeah, so you do some low fidelity wireframes. Don't mind me, this one is scam. After I built the app, and I remembered, I didn't do this wireframes. So I now went back to do wireframes after the app. Ideally, what you do with wireframes is that you just put things where they should be. No, don't think about color, don't think about alignment, don't think about, we think about alignment small. Don't think about color, don't think about the buttons, all those nitty gritty, grid, all those things. Just logo should be here, text should be here, this thing should be here, this thing should be here. Put it out there first. And the key thing about it, in the practical aspect of doing these kind of things, take your clients, your stakeholders along for this process. Please. It makes your job very, very fast. Don't do all these things, then go and show them the end product. They'll be like, I don't like this, now start again. So when you're starting, if someone says, I need a website today by 5 p.m. and it's 9 a.m., start the wireframe, show the person the wireframe. Do you approve this wireframe? Yes. Show the person your design guide. Do you approve this wireframe? Yes. By the time the person sees the website, the person has followed you on the journey. The person is like, man, I approve. You get. But if you do something very, very fast, you're a magician, you've come up with it by 4 p.m., you're showing me, also I don't like it. So from 4 to when you sleep, you still be working on it. So please, carry your stakeholders through all these processes. So wireframing is almost an advance of Sketch, right? So Sketch is very rough. It's like my hand just showing where things are. What I'll do, I'll talk to it's at work now, they say, I need a new website. Okay, I'll just go and get paper. Do you want this to be here? This is very, very fast. 2 minutes is even too much. It's good to go, right? Okay, it's good to go. Cool. And I'll go on XD. Before I start thinking about colors or even the text or anything, I'll say, okay, I actually do this on XD. I'll say, okay, logo should be here. This thing should be here. Here. 1 hour or 2 hours after I do that, I'll meet the guy again. After you're back again, okay, I approve. Then I'll start thinking about actually what colors I want to use and fonts and all that. So wireframes are just, I don't know how to define it, more advanced sketches or sketches on XD. That clears up the question. So this is scam. Scam of the highest order. I need to go and black and white this thing as if. Okay, so Google has a design methodology. Since I was designing this podcast for Google, I didn't want to start using my own icons or my own fonts or things like that. I tried as much as possible. Google's actual font is proprietary. That means it's only them that actually have the real TTF file, the real font file. So there's one guy that created this Google-like font. So I just used it. What else did I do? I read their material guidelines. I read their design projects, all the things, their tone of voice, how they talk, right? Google talks to you. They are friendly, but at the same time, they are not optimistic. No, not optimistic. There's a word for it. They're not overly friendly, sure. Do you get? So they tell you, watch later, subscribe now. Right? Whereas a very strict brand just be like, subscribe to see ahead. Do you get? So you have to choose those kind of tone of voice. All right, so icons. So if you check Gmail, I actually look at my Gmail, how my Gmail looks. They work with these strong fill icons. They don't really use too many outlines. So I say, okay, this is what Google's methodology. I pick some of those icons, the same weight. I try to design icons like that so it can look like it was a real Google app. And then the mood board. So a mood board is just the overall feel that the site will have, right? So the colors, kind of images, the tones, the clean, minimal, colorful, right? So a mood board, right? If I'm going to describe a mood board in a practical sense, is that if I'm not seeing your site, show me images that look like your site. Do you understand? So if I'm not going to go to a ESPN.com or something like that, I don't know, any other site, GTBank.com, show me something that looks like GTBank. I'm going to print orange, or I'm going to print this and put it together to create that mood of it. So you guys should write that down, please. A mood board is seeing your interface without seeing your interface. Okay. After this, we should be done. Okay. So I think I was getting tired at this point. That's why I was itching to design. So, if this I think I targeted towards more UX, right? If this was targeted towards more designers, I'd have done my grid system, what grid system I was using, I'd have done the alignment lines, why I chose to align it this way, all those things. But I think it was targeted towards UX. The UI part is very short, right? Very short. But yeah, so this is what the app looks like, right? Similar to how Gmail is, it has the icons and the text, not just icons. Then you can always hide the text. When you highlight it, it's not like it's bold. There's this dark overlay around it. Then I put the podcast there. But yeah, I have a prototype. Does it still work? It should now. Might not work. Might not works. Yes, there's a password to it. Might not work. Okay, so, but you guys know what a prototype is, right? Yeah, so just clicking through and seeing how everything works. So what did I come up with? So I came up with top shows. Top shows wasn't there on the podcast before. So that's the shows that everyone is listening to current. The show that's the popular shows, right? Then I did listen later and podcast episodes that you liked. Yeah. So what does this say again? So the play bar. So I took the play bar that was on mobile and just put it here. Right. If you guys want to criticize the design, I know it's looking kind of small. Anyone wants to criticize it? Nobody. Say something, anything. Criticize design, that's how you get better. Remember what I said about font? This font size thing, I think over the last year, I've really learned that. So everyone can see this kind of, if it was not projected, you can see this, right? Can you see this? You can't, right? This is what the podcast name is. It's very small, so ideally I would have made them equal fonts or something. So much going on. What else would I do? There's no, I don't know where the sidebar starts and stops. Can you guys see that? There's no background for the sidebar, so everywhere is just white. So maybe I've done like a small light gray background. What else would I do? Guys, come on, I want to give me something else. Dashboard, right? Oh yeah, exactly. I remember that there'll be like a little line. Oh yeah, very good point. So when doing an interface, right, you want to do something called sectioning. So you want to tell your users that this section is different from this section. I've noticed that now these days people rarely use one jarring line. They usually use like shadows, very light shadows, or like a different section color. Like this background will have like different color that is maybe like light gray, very minute, just to show them. Yeah, very low, yeah. So like light gray lines like that. The border will be 1 or 0.5. Just that when you really zoom in, you'll be like, oh, okay, I can see the difference. And also, yes, this is something I wasn't doing at this time, but I'll do now. If I'm designing for desktop app, I'll go and see the design guideline that they will use to build that app. Do you get? Developer, what do you use to build a desktop app? Do you know?
The desktop
App. What language do you use? Is it Azure or something?
I use VS Code, JavaScript.
To desktop app?
Oh, you mean desktop app?
No, not websites. Yeah, so there's one language you use for desktop apps. I'm going to read the documentation so that you can actually translate the design as it is with that documentation. If I was doing Android, material.io, I'll show you guys before you go. If I was using, I don't know Apple's one, Apple's documentation. That's my interface guidelines. Okay, so I'll check Apple's one. Close button. Where should the close button be? Oh, for this play bar, right? How does the user close the play bar? Very good. Yeah, so there should be a close button, or I don't know. How do you open and close the play bar? Should it always be there? This frame. Is it? Oh, this whole page. No, this whole page is a hand something. I thought you were talking about this bar here, this one. Sounds close. I think it's not showing on the screen. All questions.
Like that screen, that's your screen. I think it's talking about now the icon to close the window, like when you open it.
Oh, like here or something above it. Like minimize, maximize, close. The desktop app now, so yeah. Yeah, it exists. Yeah, exactly. So I don't really need to design that. I could have just put it in a frame. I can really use a mock-up of a desktop mock-up, but it's not really necessary. Everyone knows what you're talking about. But still a good point, sure. As for this play bar thing, right? I did one without the play bar. I want the play bar, but either the play bar is going to be there throughout, or there should be an option, maybe a hide and show somewhere. So hide and show the play bar. So, yeah, close it. So what else is there? Okay, so view episodes, blah, blah, blah. I remember why I said pay. Oh yeah, so what they were doing on the what do you call it? On the Google Podcast app was that there's some podcasts that are for like charity or so. So if you want to donate to the charity or you want to donate to the podcast, you can donate on the app. But me, I don't like doing transactions anyhow. So I'm going to donate to anybody. I like to do it on the desktop, right on the phone and everything. So they didn't even have the app itself. So if they're going to do that payment stuff, they can now integrate more things like PayPal or Flutterwave or Paystar or Google Pay just to do that payment thing. Okay. Oh yeah, another thing else I said toggle. I think I put a dark mode button somewhere. Oh yeah, so this is like YouTube. So I need to go and see how Google owns YouTube. So they're using the same design language. So I went to YouTube and see how YouTube did its own dark theme, light theme, and I just pretty much copied that. Okay. Oh yeah, so behind the visuals, so this is how I prototype next. Messy. Yeah, you gotta start prototyping of it. Or not started. Just a few. You guys are very, very lucky. Oh God, let me see. So just a brief one now. So this is XD, right? The old one. If I on this screen, just a short example. Yeah, I'm doing. First prototype. So I see where everything is going to on this screen, right? I see how messy it is. So on the next screen before they install, I think it was like last year, you now have to come back to this guy and now start setting it to go back to the same screens that are there. Do you get it? So like if I on this page now, if I do my prototyping, click here, it's taking me there. This register kit should take you here, right? If I now come to this one, I still have to say register kits will take you here again. That's where I have to do it for every single screen. But what Adobe came up with last year was that once you make the components and you prototype it in one place, prototyped everywhere else. So please, prototyping is easier now. So there's no excuse not to do it. So let me just show you a practical example of prototyping for those that don't know. So it's just your app without code. I hope I prototype this thing very well. Yeah, so home takes me home. Buy kits, things to buy kits, page, register kits. Yeah, so when you do all your screens, you just start seeing the journey of going from here to here to here. It's very simple work. And the good thing with XD is that when you now share that prototype, anyone that is seeing it will now be clicking around. Any question? Okay. All right, back to this guy. So prototype. Oh yeah. Okay, so brief update about this project. I sent it to the guy that actually designed the Google podcast, and we talked on Twitter. Very long conversation. He liked the project, amazing, but they have some, I won't call it like legal issues why they can't do a desktop version. Very, very deep legal issues. But apart from that, it actually was well received, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, yeah. So it's my house. Yeah, so it's my everywhere on social media is Peter on Design, Peter on Design. So just go behance.net/Peter on Design. Maybe I'll this weekend I'll post more of my stuff. I have a lot of stuff I haven't posted. I'll post more. I'm not. Let's go old school. Okay, it's just a few other things. Yeah, so in 2017, me and my guys, all of us, put hands together to work on Hire Free Hands. It's just a team effort, but it's like a website where you can hire developers and all that. Hire developers, anything, project managers, anything, like Fiverr for Nigeria. So, like I said, if you're going to start with illustrations, just keep it illustrations throughout. That's what it looks like. So all these are custom icons. Can't take credit for everything. No. So there are 4 people that worked on this thing. So this could be better represented. Now, if I pay if I pay someone 5 million now, what will happen? This will push. You get everything should be in a card that a card that is easy to define. So what I would have done differently is do this card. I have 4 cards, so everything can sit down here. Now everything just looks scattered. It's text aligned. It's aligned center, so I don't know if it's going to go like this or I don't know. Because this one is €0 now, it's sitting well. But if it's 1 million, what will happen? So that one is weird. This to me it looks boring. I don't know. What do you guys think? There's green everywhere. What bad design? I have green in 3 places. Why? I could have, what's my action? What am I telling my users to do? Is it to choose a time period? Is it to hire a free hand? That's the action goal. I should leave that one as green. Either change this one to a lighter version of green, gray, outline, different things. This card could be, I don't know. I think we're just saying the brand is green, everything green. So you can always improve on your design. All right, I've talked a lot. Let me hear from you guys more before we go. Do you have any questions? Yeah, I will. But it's my slide. Can you, okay, I'll share it. But it's scattered. Just an impromptu slide, I'll share it. I was hoping I could arrange it more before I share it. But yeah, I'll share it. Okay. I'll just run through what we talked about so that there's no missing points. So do you guys have any questions, comments? Okay, so learn about the do, Pinterest. Yeah, I'll share them. Okay. I'm not missing anything. Okay. All right. So with that, thank you for your time. I'm available for any comments.